If you're in a church where you lead from solo piano, or if you're often asked to do that, this video is for you. We're going to be talking about how to lead an upbeat song from solo piano. I'm also going to have a second part to this video series where we talk about how to lead a slower song from the piano. For now, I'm going to use my arrangement of A Mighty Fortress to demonstrate these techniques. The first one is figuring out what gives this recorded song energy. Typically, that's going to be something like the drums or the guitar. And because we can't really imitate drums too much on the piano, what we're going to focus on is the guitar. So, in the first verse of A Mighty Fortress, here's how I'm playing it. So that's very similar to what you would hear if a guitar were playing in G position on capoed 5. We're really imitating strum patterns, maybe even fast picking patterns. And this really gives the congregation stability. Or if you're accompanying a singer, just something to lean on that is rhythmically precise. Okay? So again, with the vocal, you would have this. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. So again, there's plenty for me to lean on that helps me kind of stay in the pocket, if you will. The second technique would be being able to do that same thing, imitating a guitar, but adding bass in it. So what I'm going to do is, figuratively, I'm going to take the capo off and I'm going to move to open guitar position, which will be down here. Okay? And now I've got my pinky to do some bass. So the second verse is a little bit more like this. So again, it's thicker than the first verse. It's got bass, it's got guitar, and you might can imagine what drums would sound like in that. But again, what we're really going for is percussive guitar sounds and then a bass to come with it. I'm going to deviate from that song just a bit and talk about one tune that came to mind was from the 90s, the Paul Belush tune, Open the Eyes of My Heart. That one is also in 4/4, but it's got a driving quarter note kick in it, which is a little bit different. So I thought I'd explain that as well. So if you remember, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. So look what I do with my left hand. I've got the bass, but I've also got my thumb imitating a kick drum, which is really effective. Again, if you're leading from solo piano, you're creating bass and you're creating drive, and then the right hand is guitar. So again, there's plenty of other tunes out there like that, but if you need to play a tune like that from solo piano and create that kind of quarter note kick drive, that's how you do it. You got your bass in your pinky, and then you've got the kick drum drive in your thumb. Okay, the third thing that we can try is if you have a verse that's soft. A lot of times you'll see like a third verse be really soft, but you don't want the energy to drop out too much. You can do what I'll just call watery sixteenths, to where they're really quiet. And that's really effective, again, just for creating energy underneath that's not overwhelming the arrangement. So you got, and though this world with devils filled should threaten to undo us, we will not fear, for God hath the will His truth to triumph through us. So it helps it feel soft, but it doesn't feel like the arrangement has just flattened out. The fourth technique that we can think about is playing it a little bit more like what you would have in a hymnal. So the standard hymnal version. Okay, but since we're not quite playing it that way, we're going to do just a version of that. So we might have. So I'm kind of arpeggiating my left hand. I'm moving it with the same chord structure as I had in the contemporary version, if you will. So it feels like this. And though this world where devils fill. Kind of doubling the melody in my vocal a little bit. So if you're in a congregation that really enjoys that and you don't want to deviate too much from the hymnal, that might be a good way to use it. And then the final way is just combine all of it. So if I use my final verse, we might have something like this. So if you add a vocal to that, you've got that word above all earthly powers, no thanks to them abideth. So you see there's just a little bit of everything, and it's the fourth verse in a hymn tends to be the larger one. Now, just a few things to think about. Number one, you never want to play so loud that your vocal can't be heard, and you also don't want to play so loud that when you get to a turnaround, which is the part between verses, that you can't increase your volume and play out right there. You always want to play soft enough to where when you get to those turnarounds, you can increase. So, for instance, if we're coming out of the end of the verse, on earth is not his equal. You want to be able to have interesting turnarounds, and you want to be able to play out a little bit so the congregation feels like you meant to do it. Know your inversions. So you've got, you want to be able to move from chord to chord sometimes without having to move too much so that you can look out at the congregation, or if you need to make eye contact with a singer, you can do that and not feel like you've lost your place. Talking about when you're accompanying a singer, if you're the solo pianist and you've got a singer with you, if you're playing straight out of the hymnal, then I think it's safe to take the classical approach and let your singer be the leader and the tempo setter. But if you're using a tune that's been recorded, that was recorded to a click track, that your congregation has access to through the different streaming services, then you want to get as close to that as possible so that they're not differentiating your version too much with the recorded version. So in that case, have your singer plan to follow you and tell them, hey, I'm going to set the rhythmic foundation. You can rest on that and lead on that. And I think that gives your congregation a little bit more confidence as they're following you. And then lastly, orchestrate it to where you're using louds and softs and you're maybe changing registers. Don't feel like you have to play down here the whole time. You can come, and though this world where devils fill, come up there and change it. And that's going to help the congregation too with their ears. Give them something different to hear so they're not getting exhausted with the arrangement before it's done. And then if you have the Prince of Darkness grim, Prince of Darkness grim, come on down low, make it feel grim. But then feel the freedom to spread out or only come up here. Just orchestrate it to where it's interesting even on just the accompaniment side. I hope this has helped. If you found this content helpful, I invite you to visit my site, rickbarnesmusic.com, where you can find more video tutorials and a lot of sheet music. Thanks for watching.